Isabella, her son, Edward III and her lover Roger Mortimer were facing a rebellion from one of the most powerful barons, Henry, Earl of Lancaster at the end 1328, leading the county into civil war. An armoured-clad Isabella would lead her forces against Lancaster, capturing his stronghold in Leicester and Bedford. Edward III and his forces advanced north and captured Henry of Lancaster. Henry's life would be spared, but he would be subject to a large financial penalty. Henry de Beaumont, an old supporter of Isabella who had once supported her, fled to exile in France. Henry de Beaumont, together with Edmund of Kent, would attempt to lead an uprising against Isabella with Isabella de Vesci in order to restore Edward II to the throne, whom they believed was still alive. Isabella and Roger Mortimer would foil this plot, and Edmund of Kent would be executed under orders of the regent. Isabella and Roger Mortimer would foil this plot, and Edmund of Kent would be executed under orders of the regent. Isabella de Vesci would escape any punishment for her part in the rebellion. In the autumn of 1330, safely secured at Nottingham Castle, Mortimer would interrogate a friend of Edward III, William Montague. Montague would report back to Edward that Mortimer had stated that his power was greater than the king's. These words would lead Edward to mount an incursion into Nottingham Castle on the 19th October 1330. Montague would lead 23 men into the keep and would overpower Mortimer's and Isabella's forces with the assistance of Lancastrian troops. Isabella would plead to her son for leniency to be shown to Mortimer. The next month, November 1330, Mortimer would be sentenced to be executed at Tyburn, but Edward III would show leniency by sparing Mortimer from being quartered or disemboweled. Isabella would not be tried for her crimes and was treated as an innocent bystander. Isabella, though, would be held under house arrest. Initially at Berkhamsted Castle, then transferred to Windsor Castle in 1332. She would eventually be placed under arrest at her own castle at Castle Rising in Norfolk. It has been reported that she suffered from a nervous breakdown after Mortimer's death. Her house arrest, though, would not be miserable, as she would still be provided with a lavish income and would be allowed to go hunting. By 1348, though, at roughly the age of 53, her house arrest was over, as she was able to travel freely through England. In her old age, Isabella would grow closer to her daughter Joan, who had left her unfaithful husband, King David II of Scotland, who was now a prisoner in the Tower of London. Joan would nurse her mother up until her death on 22nd of August 1358 at Hertford Castle. She would be buried at a Franciscan church in Newgate, London, wearing the mantle that she was married in. Her husband, Edward II, Hart, was buried with her in a casket. She would leave the majority of her estate to her favourite grandson, Edward the Black Prince. Although she would leave some personal effects to her daughter, Joan,